With ITV Fest about to go live in the coming days, all of us that are in the film and TV industry, well, we start asking that age-old question, will Vermont ever have a thriving film and TV industry, or is it all just a pipe dream? I want you to watch this.
Word on this could not get out.
I made a mistake.
No witnesses, no outside knowledge.
There must be a reason you didn't share the news about the giant magnetic surge in Lower Manhattan.
This is how we keep our edge.
I made something that can change everything. The whole world. But I shared it with the wrong people. I didn't know.
This thing should have been destroyed immediately, never even considered for fun.
What is this? I can get you out of this, okay? You just have to trust me.
I'm always up for a little fun.
That's Accelerator. It's a new film in post right now. It's created by Edgewood Studios out of Rutland. Edgewood Studios is owned by Dave Giancola. Dave Giancola has made, or has helped to make, over 35 movies in the last 30 years. Now, let that sink in for a moment. And I'll take it one step further, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as I can tell, Dave Giancola is the most prolific filmmaker the state of Vermont has ever produced. So, if there is anyone who might have a good opinion on this age-old question, it would be this guy. So, Dave, what is so what is this thing you're showing me?
So I want to show you the difference between the way it was done in the late 90s, early 2000s, and the way it's done now. What you're looking at, this is all motion picture celluloid negative. This is 35 millimeter negative, and if I can give you a sense of it, this whole shelf is the original negative of one movie called Peril, of a feature.
So one hour and a half movie used to take up.
This is all the original dailies. So this is all the stuff that was shot, and then we would transfer it to video.
I see.
And then we would edit it down and whatnot. But this is all the original negative. So this is 35 neg. This is Super 16 neg. This is Radical Jack, or Billy Ray Cyrus movie. This is down here is Icebreaker, which was shot in '99, which was really what made the studio take off kind of like a rocket, because it was our first $1 million movie. It was really successful.
So in so in 15 years, is there going to be any way to look at these, or?
I mean, I think that
is this a graveyard, Dave?
I don't think this is a graveyard, because there's a really high def image on all this negative.
Okay.
I think the graveyard is over here, where you've got videotape that's standard def, and these are the finished versions. These are the masters for the movies you were just looking at over there. These basically are the graveyard. If you want to take your movie and go back and rescan it in high def, you can do it from the original negative, which I've done with some of the films, but it's pretty expensive, so we don't do it that much.
And let me just ask you a question. If this is a graveyard, these are the tombstones, so why do you still keep them?
For two reasons. Some of this is behind the scenes stuff, and they're originals.
It's classic.
So
right.
So it's archived, because behind the scenes, it used to be no one cared about behind the scenes, and now it's a DVD extra, and you need to have it, or a Blu-ray extra. And then these are still a pathway to refinishing the movies if we need to one day in HD. And we keep legacy equipment. I keep 2 legacy racks of old machines, just to specifically if I have to go back and get something. And
so thank God for eBay.
Yeah, thank God for you, and that's what we learned. But compared to what Edgewood used to be, I mean, there's stuff in here that's, I'll show you. Like this is an old. This is the True Dinosaur. This is a 1-inch master of this movie up here on videotape. I probably could just toss this.
Wow.
That's the whole movie. That was the broadcast standard back in. Geez, it wasn't even that long ago. It was 2002. 2000, yeah.
And that's all. You will not see anything like this anymore in existence in a professional setting at all.
No, and this stuff deteriorates pretty fast too. Whereas celluloid film been proven to last 100 years, maybe longer. Videotape doesn't last very long. So it's not a good archival medium. and where his film is. So my very first film, The Spirit, 10 minutes, starring this fantastic young actor, is here. This was shot in, I don't even know, it was this 80 something?
I'll find out. I'll put a clip up on it.
I want to say 86,
Yeah.
1986. Still here, the negative is still good. I could still scan that in high def. Doesn't look spectacular, but I could still scan it in high def. So this is kind of a graveyard, but not necessarily. So this is generally the artwork that came out when the films were released. Sometimes in this country, a lot of times in places like Japan, the Netherlands. This is Italy. I think this is. I think that's Italy too. The Netherlands, different countries. And that was that was actually our biggest market when we started, was foreign sales for movies. So there was a time, to be completely honest, back in the late 90s where you could, if it was made in America, you could pretty much give it away to a foreign country, pretty easily.
You're making me think, I've got like two questions in my mind, but so why are you back? It feels like you went away for a long time, and now with Accelerator, like, what's going on?
Well, I don't know that I've ever been gone, but there were a lot of things that changed in the industry. One of them being having to acquire on celluloid, and now being able to acquire digitally. Another one was I had done a large body of work, and I had done what I wanted to do for a long time, and I saw the writing on the wall, specifically when the Canon 5D camera came out, the still camera that you can use to shoot movies with regular lenses, like DSLR lenses. So I saw that change coming. I was not making movies that I was particularly happy with. Tax incentives were a big issue, and we were losing work to tax incentives, so I was going to be faced with, at that time, having to go up to work up in Canada where tax incentives were really monster. So I downsized the company and decided to, and I focused on some other family businesses like real estate. And
So when you say downsize,
we were a company that had 17 employees. We had 40,000 square feet. We had production cameras. We had lighting and grip. We had trailers. We had offices. We had edit suites. We mixed our own sound.
Right.
And that was a huge amount of overhead, a huge amount of work. I had to make sure the bathrooms were clean, the stages were clean. We had insert stage space. We were renting equipment, and it wasn't what I lost my joy in it, I think.
Did you feel you were doing more administrative duties than actually filmmaking?
I was.
Right.
I was. And there were two reasons for that. Number one was the business was a business, and it had to be supported. And number two, I just wasn't, when we were doing some of these TV movies, like over here, you've got Lightning Fire from the Sky, which was kind of a disaster TV movie, and Moonlight Mistletoe. I got to the point where we stopped making action movies after 9/11. They went out of favor, especially foreign, for a while. We started making these disaster movies, which were good business for us. And I directed this, and actually I cast Jesse Eisenberg in his first lead role in this movie, but I directed it the way I direct an independent film. And there was a whole level of executives above me. So if I had a problem, and in this movie, the famous problem was 3 o'clock in the morning, we had decided, we'd changed the script, decided we were going to blow up half the town to save the town. You have to see the movie. But no writer was around to fix the ending, so the actors and I, Jesse Eisenberg, John Schneider, me, Michelle Green, we improvised the ending and saved the ending of the movie. When those dailies got shipped back to California, they went ballistic. And they didn't want to work with me. I was considered a wild card. So after that, I just really produced and shot second unit. And got to the point where something like Moonlight Mistletoe, I wasn't even trying for any kind of creative control. This was shot in Chester. They run it 20 times every Christmas now.
Right.
It was very successful for Hallmark. For me, this was, I think we made this 2009. For me, this was just a business transaction, but I was also trying to prove that you could make movies like this in Vermont. It was successful, but was not a joy to make.
Right.
And so that's why I just decided I'm going to downsize into the space we're in now, which is smaller creative space, a couple of edit suites, some resource space, and it's more comfortable, it's more creative, and that's what I wanted. And so I got out of the big business side of it at, I think, the right time.
Okay, 12 o'clock tomorrow, lunch. The slopes will be packed, holiday, but I'll be there.
And please don't. I mean, We can't be late this time.
Armed hordes couldn't keep me away.
All the equipment's already on the summit with my people. The copter's standing by. In and out time, 30 minutes. We move out in 10 minutes.
So what's the big news?
You have to wait till lunch.
Have you met anybody new?
So what did you boys lose up there? A little powder, perhaps?
No, something infinitely more fascinating.
That plane was transporting weapon-grade plutonium stolen from Russia.
He's dead! Oh, shot! Pretty neat, huh? No, it isn't.
While I've got you there thinking, Dave, because I can see you thinking. All right, so I get it, you downsized, and you did all that, but I'm still not sure, like, I'm going to say this again, and I know it's wrong, but why are you, it feels like the old Dave is back. He's made another movie, he's directing it, he's doing it again like he did way back, 20 years ago?
Hasso, the truth of it is, making movies is a terrible business. Okay, that's the honest truth of it. Making movies is a terrible business. You know, it was important in my life, and with the business changing, to balance things out. And in balancing things out, I downsized the entertainment side of what I did. Because it's a tough business, it's very risky. I had some movies not do well. But the reason I'm back is filmmakers are like junkies. You know, we just can't, you just can't, I enjoy it so much,
Yeah, I hear you.
especially when I have creative control of it.
Right.
I enjoy the hell out of it. So I can't, as much as Accelerator is highly commercial, I've had a blast making it. And it is my passion, it's what I love to do. And if I can make a movie every couple of years, every 2-3 years, I'm happy, and I probably will always do that.
New York State is,
15 minutes from here. I could be there in 15 minutes, yeah.
and that is the giant in the country right now. As of last year's figure, they were outspending California. So it was an outrageous number, 500 million just to either draw you in or keep you there.
Right.
And so you're 15 minutes over, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you shot most everything in Vermont.
I did. With Accelerator, we shot in Vermont. I have not made the leap to a tax incentive state.
And so it's 15 minutes. Why wouldn't you just go get money over there?